Our final speaker of the evening is Dr. Weijie Peng. She received her PhD in mathematics from Worcester Polytechnic Institute before moving to McMaster University for her postdoc position in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics. Her research is related to forecasting stock market prices, and she's also interested in forecasting human behavior in society. So since the start of the pandemic, she's really pivoted her research to finding better public health policies to contain this pandemic through network models. And she's noted that understanding and trying to forecast human behavior is much more complex than simple things like stock market prices. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Weijie Peng.
Thank you for the introduction. So yes, a human is much complicated than stock price. So here for my topics, actually, I want to answer one question about the COVID-19, the vaccine can help us stop this pandemic or not. So I know everybody has experienced a terrible time in this last year, and everybody is waiting for the signal like, okay, this is the end. But vaccine can do this or not? So to answer this question, actually what we need to do is we need to think about what's the start of this pandemic, why this virus spread to the everywhere in this world. So let's go back to the last winter together. So at the beginning of this pandemic, when people find there is a new virus in China, so what the first government will do in the other countries, they want to stop the direct flight between their country to China. So if we look at the timeline, actually at January 29, the German and Canada are all stopped the flight between their country to China and China to their country. And then until the February 9, the New Zealand is follow their order. So then maybe for us, we feel, okay, if the German and Canada, their government take action earlier, though, that means the COVID-19 should have less cases on their country. So however, if we look at their cases number, so this is the number of the daily new cases in their country per million people. So we don't need to care about the different population in these three countries. We will just focus on these numbers here. We can find the situation in Germany actually is much worse than New Zealand, and Canada is in the middle. So we know actually the time, like when we stop the flight between China and their own country, it's not a reason for us to make, oh, which one is better, which country is worse. So to explain this, why stop the flight between or from the source of this virus cannot stop the spread of this virus, we need to think the world as a network. So to do this, generally what people think about, they didn't treat it as one network. What they think, they more think everything as a pair situation. So what this means, they think, okay, the spread of this virus between two countries is just focus on these two countries. It's just a pair situation. So they think we stop the flight, then everything is solved. However, in the real world, the thing should be a network structure. So what this means even we stop the direct flight between two countries, there is still a lot of other flights can bring people from China to Germany or from Germany to China. So they can take the one-stop flight, two-stop flight, and even other method to travel between these two countries. So that's why actually stop the direct flight cannot stop a spread of one virus. And even worse, this is a picture of what happened in the real world about the flight map. So you can see all of this green link is show one direct flight. So if we just stop one direct flight between two countries, that means we just delayed one green line here. So you can see compared to the all other lines, this is just means we stop or we cut off one tree in a forest. They didn't change anything. The people can still travel between these two countries. So in this situation, if we want to stop the pandemic from the beginning, what people will do, they shouldn't only focus on this direct flight. They should focus on all people coming from other countries, no matter where they come from. All the international students, all the international travelers should be tested and maybe quarantined for several days. So here we know this about the stop the direct flight cannot change or stop this pandemic. Then for vaccine, all the local citizens can also make similar results. So that means if we only focus on the citizen in our country, they cannot stop the pandemic because the spread of the virus is still transferring in other countries, and finally they will go back to our own country. So a better suggestion to this, how we can stop a pandemic, is first we should continue testing all international travelers, no matter where they come from, no matter they show symptoms or not. So everybody should get a test. And then we should notify all the citizens as soon as possible. If there is a community spread of this virus, everybody should get a notifications so they can get aware about, okay, they should also take a test of this virus or not. And the third is we should prepare enough personal protection equipment, especially for the health workers, for people working the long care housing, and all people work in the public location. For example, people work in the supermarket. They should be protected with personal protection equipment. And the last one, and also the most important one, is we need to spread this vaccine to all countries. Don't only focus on our countries. We live in the whole communities in the world. So if we only focus in our countries, it means we ignore all the other trees in a forest. It won't stop this pandemic. Okay, so that's my talks, and thank you for your watching.
Thank you so much, Weijie, for your talk. And I think quite a few of the audience members have probably learned quite a bit from you, because about 74% of them thought that if we just vaccinate Canadians, we should be able to stop the local spread. But we can see that that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, unfortunately, the answer is no.
If only it was that easy. There is a question from the chat, though, and they're asking, can this network analysis also be applied to individuals rather than countries so that you can follow the spread of COVID-19?
Yeah, this is a great question. So if we, change this models to a individual's level, actually, technically, the answer is yes, but very few people will do this. Why? Because if we say how many countries we have in the world, it's about 200. So you can think this is a problem of 200 components. However, if this is for the individuals, this is about 60 million people or 6 million components in the models. It will make the model really messy. But we also have some similar idea. Actually, we already work on this. Is we can divide the people into some types, right? People work like connect to more people. They can be one group. So people like they are social or they are businessmen. They travel a lot. They are another type. People work in the house cares or some position like this. They can be another type. So if we divided the individuals to several types, then yeah, we can still apply our model and analyze the problems. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Weijie.
You're welcome.